All right, we need to hit under 50 pounds for this guy. Just barely, but if it was overweight, I would just take the tripod head out, put it in my bag, my carry-on. It's about 5 pounds. We're cutting it a little close, so thank goodness for TSA pre-check. 3 minutes, not bad. You guys know how much I love this American Express credit card. It is perfect if you are a frequent traveler, and I get access to Centurion lounges, which they do not have here in Orlando. However, if you have a Delta flight, you should be able to access the Delta Sky Club. Lounges are a completely new thing to me. I've never been in the type of level that would allow me access, and I didn't know how this stuff worked, so I'll share it with you guys. You open up your Amex app and you go to lounges, and it knows where you are due to your location. Then you can see which one you want to go to, and it'll tell you the requirements, what gate it's next to, if it's busy or not. So in this case, all I needed was my boarding pass and ID. And then once I got in, I've been to this airport hundreds of times. It's in my home city in Orlando, but I never knew what it looked like in here. So way bigger than I thought. And then the main perk is everything inside past the front doors is complimentary. So I got some food, I found a nice chair, and just got to relax away from the gate with a gin and tonic. It's just such a different airport experience than I'm used to having. I got a quick layover in Atlanta, 30 minutes. That might be enough time to hit up the Delta Lounge here. I took a 1-hour flight from Orlando to Atlanta and decided why not just stop into their Delta Sky Club. So it's extremely fast. You don't have to get there hours early. You can get there up to 3 hours early. But if you just need to jump in and get some food, then that is what I really like. Actually, mostly I like getting away from the chaos at the gate. And as I go through, being a filmmaker or videographer, whatever you want to call it, there's a lot of travel. I specifically target jobs that include travel. So as good as I'm trying to get my production value, I want to make my traveling experience as good as possible. And this is just the cherry on top that I've been missing for a while. And I had to pay. You got to just pay for that American Express Platinum card. It's an expensive yearly fee, but man, has it come in handy. When I was in Dallas, I got a massage in between my layovers. Like, it just gives you some things that were not part of the travel journey before. However, now that I am on the flight, I do need to do some admin work. I had someone ask for rates. I typically don't have a rate sheet because it's client dependent, but for this rate sheet is going to one person, and I just needed to let them know what I had, some of my traveling stipulations, if you want me no gear, with gear. Notice there's no half-day rates in here, and that just helps me be as clear as possible. We arrive, San Antonio, we got 1 day of corporate work. So this is the travel day, tomorrow is work, and then the next day we fly out. I did not think it would be raining once I got to San Antonio, Texas. Okay, this is our room. So this is a one large room that they've put these partitions in. And so we're gonna get a straight on interview, and our producer is not really liking the lack of set design here, but I know we're gonna be able to make it work. And in fact, that makes it better for me, because if she feels this is not looking good, I know I'll be able to make it look good, and then everybody's impressed and I get rehired and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we'll be able to use all of the depth in this room. And I think those windows will be really nice because it has a tree outside that'll block the sun. No FX6 package today. I am getting an operator rate using the company's gear. So this is their whole thing. I'm just bringing it. But it's been a long time since I've touched an FS5, and this is the Mark II. So this will be fun. I mean, it's basically a little FX6, a 1080p 10-bit FX6 or 4K 8-bit one. And then we're just going to be doing some interviews. I love it that production companies realize, call David if you want corporate interviews. That is just a nice, efficient calling card for me to have. So it's the night before. We're in a king size, very Texas style room. Getting everything ready, making sure everything's charged. This is dead, so let's charge that. This is much bigger and full. This production company prioritizes efficiency over image quality, and their gear choices reflect that. So the lighting kit that came was two 200Xs, and this is the softbox. So really not big at all. It's my choice to say I'm gonna bring some extra gear that is unpaid for to kind of show them what I can provide for them if there's a need for it or if they want to pay for it. So instead of their 18 to 105 f4, I am opting to use my 24 to 70 with the bigger aperture at 2.8. I'm going to be able to get a little bit more separation, and instead of only having two 200s, I brought my 60D. I wish that was by color, and that way I'm going to put up a 5-in-1 reflector on some stands that I brought and try to soften this as much as possible, and just give a nice soft light here, and then cross hair light, and then this will be getting brighter and brighter. And if I see fit, I'm also going to give the director or producer their own monitor. So I'll be using some Hollyland transmission, and that will kind of be like much more cherry on top type of thing, in case I can maybe convince them that, hey, if you want me to bring my full setup, I can make this look really, really good. And I know they might be interested in that because they bought a clapperboard purely for client perception. They want to make these people feel important, because we don't need a clapperboard. There's no sound sync. It's nice to have the interviewee's name on the slate, but they want to make this person feel like there's a lot of production and value and presence here. So this is like a half step to kind of get them into, you know, what I could really provide for you is ... And maybe that could be a conversation we have out of this effort. All right, already running into our first problem. I don't know if you can see it, but the third light is flickering and creating some flashing here. So let's see if we can just turn off the house lights. Sometimes they don't give these controls. So now we have the left side gone. So with this row here, it kind of actually accentuates the key coming from this side. So I'll see if this works. That's why I wish I had got the 60X instead of 60D, because it is so blue. Yes, I am trying to mimic the outside light as the hair light, but it would just be nice to be able to change the Kelvin temp a little bit. Okay, sun is popping up, so we're gonna be dealing with those changes throughout the morning. But the client came in and had that initial, oh wow, this looks great. And it's funny, I just realized this. I'm trying to impress my client, the production company, and then they're trying to impress their client, the convention conference company. So we're all trying to upsell the person in front of us. Whenever I hold a filmmaker meetup in different cities, I make an Instagram chat so that everybody can keep connecting after I'm gone. I have one in Orlando, Atlanta, Dallas. Dallas is always the most poppin'. They're always throwing jobs around. Can you help me? I need a second shooter who can tell me how to light. And specifically, there was one guy who just got admitted, and he said, let me get a group consensus of how to make this lighting better. So this is what he started with. And then after everybody gave input, this is what it ended up as. And I love that we can all help each other and really be a resource to each other. This is the frame that we decided to settle on. So the sun is over here, and I believe it's gonna go over, so we should be pretty good, but I'm gonna have to manage that. This came out great, they loved it. And then we're using the 200 going through, and then I did need the second one to kind of bounce and give a little bit more fill. And then I put this crate on here because there was getting a hard shadow behind that thing. So I just needed a little bit of cut, little flag. And like I said, we are not using my gear. So FS5 Mark II, this is perfect for corporate work. This is the thing that could give us hiccups. The Sennheiser, these are the G4s. They used to have the G3s. And I don't know what it is about it, but this just is so sensitive and picks up scratches on so much clothing. The Sony UWPs I used last week were so good that I think I'm gonna have to buy them. There's no NDA on this job, but just as kind of best practices when I am showing behind the scenes of executives or how companies run, I prefer to err on the side of safety. So the cinematic mode on the iPhone is really doing the heavy lifting here. And the FS5 is working great. I'm pairing it up with my Hollyland 300S, which connects via HDMI. So I love that the FS5 has both an out for HDMI and an out for SDI, which I'm not using right now, but it's just great to have multiple video outs. How do you like these gaff tape barn doors? It's working. Just gotta make sure they don't, I don't know, catch on fire or something.
For the professions to grow and even go beyond.
A popular question I get is, how do you make time to film all this BTS footage? Well, interviews are something completely different than other jobs. All of the work is really done when you're setting up. If you can get all the camera ready, you get the lights going, you get the audio perfect. Once you're rolling, you really can't make any adjustments. So you're just sitting there. And of course, I don't want to look like I'm always on my phone, but that's when I can pull out the camera, film something real quick. Or as you notice, a lot of this stuff is done when I'm in halls, walking between places. I want to show all the stuff that happens, but you just have to be discreet about it. I'm making little changes in between interviewees, so I'm noticing this dark chair is getting a little lost. I went into their camera bag that they provided and saw that we have this little on-camera light. So I'm gonna see maybe if I can just rest it on the chair and pop a little light here. So let's see here. Maybe something like that. Actually, if I switch it from here to here, it's still hidden by this arm, but gives a little bit more dimension.
Really, I look to my peers within the society for my own professional development, revenue. But that's short-sighted. If you think about how all that revenue flows through an organization.
I just got released for a 45-minute break, so I'm going back to my room. Definitely gonna use this time to edit some vlogs. I'm a little backed up. And I think I've gotten some new subscribers. Most of you guys don't know. All of my vlogs are filmed, edited, and uploaded on this phone. So the files never go anywhere else. It goes straight from the camera roll to CapCut and then into the YouTube app. It's the fastest, easiest way for me to make these vlogs, and I do not want to make it look any better if that means making the process harder. So I'm gonna knock out a vlog in 20 minutes. All right, we are in man on the street mode. I got a stick mic in my pocket, and this is kind of making me want to make my FX6 lose the V-mount. This is so light and just beautiful San Antonio. So as I'm walking to the reception, I was following a group of people trying to find a shot, and I kind of framed it up like this so that this was taking up the majority of the shot, and then I could see them in the blurry background walking through the doors. So just like always trying to find shots since this is an event and things only happen once. I'm gonna take about 30 minutes and pack everything up into those two cases, and then that is a wrap on San Antonio. I have been working non-stop this past week, and this morning I finally get some time to relax and just rest. Also, I've never had a hotel window open up like this. So I fly back in an hour to Orlando, and then tomorrow I am driving down to South Florida for more combat night. So I'll be filming MMA, and then I'll be done with this I think 10-day spree of work. Getting back to the travel portion, so a lot of airlines will overbook their flights intentionally because they know not everyone will show up, and then they get to make more money. But in some cases, everybody shows up, so they start asking for volunteers. Does anybody want to go on the next flight? We'll give you a credit. And when they offered it first, I turned my head, but I didn't go for it. And then when they offered it again, it was the price of the flight, which is $231 that I did not pay for, so I got that back. And then they gave me a $200 credit, and then they gave me a $400 credit. So $831 in total, and the next flight was leaving 3 minutes later at the gate next door. So I took that, and a bunch of people went up for that, but I was the last one who could get it. However, since bin space was a premium, they said you have to check your bag. I told them it was cameras. They said there's nothing we can do. So I pull out the FS5 and I bring that into my carry-on. But then when I get to the next place, my connection flight, as soon as I land, my connection flight had already left 10 minutes ago. That is a big bummer because they said I would make it there on time. I don't know whose fault it was, but that's a risk. Well, that's a bummer. So instead of getting home at 8:30, it's going to be 10:45. So if you play that game, you have to be aware that your checked-in bag is going in on that first flight that you checked in. You're going in on a second one, and then the carry-on bag that you were going to put above head might need to be checked as well. It's just pros and cons. This one worked out really well. And this credit will become a vacation for my girlfriend and I in the future. So if you have any travel hacks, let me know. Share it, put it in the comments, because I just want to get better and better at traveling, and there's so much to learn.